This is Joey. He's gonna tell us how he runs a multi-millionaire's YouTube channel, makes content for himself, and makes over 70K a year, all while serving in the Marine Corps. And more importantly, he's gonna tell us how you can too. But first, let's get to know him.
Could you just give everybody a brief introduction about yourself?
So I joined the Marine Corps back in 2019 and got into the finance world through a bunch of different creators like Charlie Chang, Graham Stephan, Andre Jeek. If you guys like during the pandemic, they were huge. So I got into finance, and then I also got into entrepreneurship and creating content. I started to work under Charlie Chang. He became my mentor, taught me everything that I know about YouTube. And so I started to combine what I was learning in social media with the military. And so now I make content interviewing Marines specifically, but I also interview I've interviewed people from like the Navy too. But yeah, so far majority of Marines.
Okay. And just, starting from the very beginning, you just graduated high school. What was the, outlook looking like from the time you graduated from high school and you joined the Marines? What were you doing, and, how were you feeling at that time?
I joined pretty much like right after I graduated because I was in the Pulley program for a couple months before I graduated. So I was already like dead set on joining.
And then, so why'd you choose the Marines out of any other branch? And you are in the reserves too, and then kind of go into why you chose reserves over active duty.
My brother was a huge inspiration for me and he joined the Marine Corps, and so it was like a huge shock to everybody because we were these two skinny young Asian boys that had no we didn't play football or like the kind of like typical route where you'd be like I don't know, I feel like Marines are like mostly jocks whereas like you're either wrestling or you're playing football or something like that. Like I played tennis. So like my route was gonna be like, hey, just go to college, become a doctor or something like that. But then, my brother completely flipped the script and joined the Marine Corps, came back. I saw that kind of transformation happen. And so it inspired me to like kind of check it out. I did a workout with the whole like recruiting substation, and I loved it.
And so why'd you go reserves over active duty?
I kind of always knew that the Marines wasn't going to be like a lifelong career for me. I knew that I had so much potential outside of the military. Like I wanted to get into entrepreneurship and business. I just at the time didn't know how to how to get started, and I also was like super scared. Like I didn't want to fail or anything like that.
I got you. So do you think joining the Marines kind of gave you that little safety net in case you did fail in your entrepreneurship ventures? Like even if you do fail, you kind of have the Marines to fall back on?
I was thinking about it like, hey, the Marine Corps is going to teach me discipline. It's going to teach me like how to work hard. It's going to teach me how to get fit and just a bunch of like really good foundational skills and beliefs and mindset shifts that is really good for like anybody who's super young and like doesn't know anything. Like coming out of straight out of high school, you're super immature. You don't know anything. You don't know how to like get fit. You don't know how to stay fit, and you've never like worked hard ever in your life, probably. So
I got you. And then so some people might be wondering, where are you from and what's your MOS in the Marines?
so I'm from Cali, so I'm stationed over in Camp Pendleton. I drive trucks.
That's Motor
That's
T,
my
right?
yeah, Motor T. Yeah. If you say Motor T, most people that are not in the military are gonna be like, well, what's that? So I just tell them I drive trucks.
Did you choose to drive trucks? How does that process work in the Marines for you guys? Because in the Army, I'm a dental assistant, and I got to choose to be a dental assistant because my ASVAB scores, I qualify for the job. So how does it work for you guys?
Dude, you must have scored pretty high then.
Actually, I did not, bro. I just retook my ASVAB test to get a higher score, but I got a 41 the first time on my ASVAB, which you
Oh
probably
shit.
got. Yeah, you probably got a higher score than me, bro. What'd you get?
I think I got like a 74 or 76 or something like that.
You're way smarter than me, bro.
But no, dude, I mean dentistry assistant, bro, that's like that's gotta be way more skillful than driving trucks.
I guess it depends on you, I guess, how you apply it and, take it from it.
I chose to like drive trucks because it was either that or be a radio operator or an aviation mechanic. And I was like, nah, those don't sound as fun as driving.
I got you. I got you. All right. So right after high school, you decided to join the Marines. What made you want to, start creating content?
I think I've had like these little like phases when I was growing up where it's like I would record some like funny stuff and like post it onto like my Snapchat or something like that. Or like me and my friend, we would like come up with like a random skit and then record it. And so I think like content creation was always something that seemed like, something that was pretty cool. But I never thought I could be like one of those big influencers or whatever. Until I learned that, it's actually not that hard to like just pick up a camera and record. But now I have more of like a business mindset. So I have like a whole system set up. So it's different. It's easier to be consistent when you have a whole system behind your content creation. So it started off at 29 Palms. So my friend, he had an iPhone. I was like, hey, can you record us? And then I just used my iPhone for the audio. And then it went viral. And I was like, okay, so I'm just going to keep on doing this.
And then, so did you have any content creators that kind of inspired you to do that? Or was it just like completely out of your, imagination or your creativity?
With Charlie, we started doing interview videos like a few months before I started doing them. And so we saw there was a big trend on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram Reels, all these platforms had creators, like big creators that were doing street interviews and just, different kinds of interviews. Like everybody has their own niche, right? And everybody has their own type of like specific content that they make, like military content, right? And so you can do interviews, but for your niche instead. And so I didn't see anybody doing military interviews at all, except for Urban Valor. Urban Valor is a pretty big YouTube channel, and they were doing this before. But I was like, they have like a pretty professional set. I can do it like raw, and so I think that's what really captivated my audience is like people on TikTok and all that. I feel like they like raw content more.
I agree. I feel like they're able to, let it resonate more with them because, some guy in a $1 million production setup, you're not going to see yourself, in them, but people watching you or me, okay, I could do that type of thing. But who is Charlie Chang and how did you meet him?
So Charlie Chang, he blew up on YouTube during I think it was like the pandemic. He was doing a lot of like COVID stimulus videos that he really blew up because it was like it was a very trending topic. I think like during COVID, he released like one YouTube video per day, which is crazy because it takes so much to like film, edit, and all that stuff. So he ended up developing an entire like system behind his YouTube channel to where he could monetize like super efficiently. And so, he was able to make, I think like nowadays he's making like 2, 3 million per year. And like in profit too. Which is crazy. When he was at, I think like 500K subscribers, he posted on his Instagram, he was like, hey, I'm looking for a personal assistant. And so I basically wrote him like a super long email, basically telling him like, hey, I'll scrub your toilets if you want me to. Like, no job is beneath me. I'll do anything. I just want to be able to help out. And then so he put me onto like a whole trial period. And then I quit my job during that trial period to just go all in. And then, yeah, it's almost been 2 years since I started working with him.
And then so pretty much like as soon as you, got the connection with Charlie Chang, you started working for him, you kind of, started to think even more, content creator wise, and you kind of started to think, how can I apply all this stuff I'm learning into, the military? And what I want to ask you is, right, so you mentioned that you started the idea because, you saw Urban Valor do it and you say, you could make it more raw. And so was it completely, just I'm going to interview people, or do you eventually want to branch off into doing other content with the military?
Long term, I do want to interview other branches. I just have zero connections. Like I don't know what bases are out there for like Army, Air Force. Most of my connections are Marines because I'm on Camp Pendleton. And so
How do you think is a good way to make those connections? Because a lot of people, they have the same mindset as all these other people, but they just don't know how to connect with other people to kind of push each other up. How do you think, is a good way to connect, or like, how do you connect with other people?
I didn't actually start getting like connections with other Marines until I started posting like a lot. And so Marines started finding me through that. So I recommend like if you want to network with whoever in whatever industry, like start creating content about that and put yourself out there in that industry.
How's creating content in the military kind of changed your life? What has it done for you so far, or what has come from it?
It's been a really cool experience so far. I've met so many cool Marines. I've learned so much in the process of trying to give good information out there to other Marines. Because I don't know about like the Army, but the Marine Corps is there's so much like tradition, and like the culture is like pretty old, and so all the information that's out there is kind of hidden. And you have to talk to all the veterans, and you have to talk to all the experienced people to know about all the different tips and tricks and information out there. So I was like, we got to get this information out to people.
Yeah, and like for an example, we're both like our MOSs have nothing to do with content creation, but we kind of just took the initiative to just, we're passionate about making content. And despite us not being, at the end of the day, I still got to be in a dental clinic, doing dental stuff. At the end of the day, you still got to drive trucks. What's your advice, for people whose MOS is completely unrelated to content? That's kind of, wanting to make content. How do you think is the best way to start?
I would say just get started with what you have. Like a lot of people, I think, are afraid of like making bad videos at first. You just have to go for it and learn along the way. Because like if I started off younger, I would be like so far ahead than I am right now. And so that's like everybody's biggest regret is like, hey, I wish I started sooner. So if you're trying to get into content, like start now. Like
So, what things have you kind of learned for the people, who started content creating and they're still, less than 1,000, less than 5,000 followers? What are some things that you can, you've kind of learned that helped you grow, or some things that you kind of noticed that, gets more attention than others that can kind of help you grow or kind of get you some more views or whatnot?
I think it's really being able to adapt to the trends, because social media is always changing, right? If I would have done military interviews like 10 years ago, I don't think it would have worked as well, right? It wasn't until like the past couple of years that interviews really started to pop off again. And so it's kind of like timing. I would recommend to like keep trying out different things, but once you find out what works, really like hammer on that and create more videos like that. I see like some creators, they find a viral video, like it'll get like 1 million on TikTok, and then they'll just stop creating content. You have to take advantage of that and create more content like the one that blew up.
How you started, and then how you got to where you're now in terms of you creating content.
So the way I started was I was just editing videos for Charlie. And so that's how I got my reps in, and that's how I kind of got better and better. And then I started to edit my own videos. And then nowadays I have 3 editors on my team. They're all overseas. So I highly recommend, like if you're trying to get into content and you're a total beginner, you can go on a website like Upwork or Fiverr, and you could find an editor overseas, and it's like a win-win situation because you're able to save a ton of money on hiring somebody, and then they're also able to make a ton of money in their currency, because oftentimes in these third world countries, their dollar to like whatever their currency is like way off. So like a dollar in American, a US dollar over there in their country is like a ton of money. So I think when I first started, I had a guy help me make 30 TikToks per month for $100. So super, super affordable, I think, for most people out there. And yeah, I recommend hiring like right away. Like that's one of my biggest regrets is not hiring sooner. Like if I were to start over again, I would be like, hey, start spending that $100 per month right away, and try to spend more even if you could. because the more you invest into your business and the more you invest into the people that are helping you with your business and your content, the faster you'll be able to grow and the more content you'll be able to make.
So even though, say you're not even making anything, off of your social media, you think, just out of your own personal money.
Yeah, I was spending like a couple hundred every month, I think. But I want to say for the first like 5 or 6 months out of just my own pocket.
And then just to give like a rough number monthly, how much do you kind of see each month based off your military stuff?
Yeah, so this one is like wildly wild, like it's unpredictable. Like some
Like,
months, yeah, some months it's like, oh, 2000, and then some months it's like, oh, 500. So it's like, yeah, it's super unpredictable. I would say like anywhere between 500 to like 2 to 3,000.
okay. Hell yeah. So like I feel like once you saw that you're making, more than your reserve paycheck through YouTube, you're like, okay, I gotta keep going with this stuff.
I always knew that it had the potential for that because of Charlie Chang. I saw his channel and he talks pretty openly about all of the ways that he monetizes. And so yeah, social media is so lucrative. Like there's like 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds becoming multimillionaires off of social media. So
Charlie Chang, right? He's a multimillionaire. I've known him, since a while now, watching, all his finance videos because they're very useful. They're very useful. Like all the car interviews and stuff like that. It's like it's crazy. And so, what is it like working for a multimillionaire, man?
it's very, I mean, it's so unique working for not just any multimillionaire, but working for Charlie. He's the best. I mean, I couldn't imagine myself working with like anybody else for a long period of time. All those 9 to 5 jobs that I had before as a server, security guard, DoorDash, like all those jobs didn't have um, the kind of lifestyle where it was like every single day I'm learning something new, every single day I'm doing something different, and it's just awesome being in business and entrepreneurship. I think this is what I was, meant to do, and it's my passion. So it's been awesome.
How was, Marine Corps boot camp for you, bro?
It was fine. I think I grew up with a pretty strict and stern like father figure. So my dad was like pretty like on point with like, time hacks. It was kind of similar to like boot camp in a sense. So I feel like boot camp wasn't really that much of a shock to me compared to like other recruits who came from like families that did everything for them, treated them really nicely. And so for them to be able to get spit in the face or whatever was like totally brand new to them.
What is some advice you tell somebody, who's considering joining the Marines? Like, what would you, want them to know before they join the Marines versus any other branch?
Uh, I think just don't give up. I think a lot of people that didn't make it in boot camp, they just, gave up mentally. So it's a very it's a lot of mental. It's not as physical. I would say if you're becoming an officer, that's more physical than mental. But enlisted boot camp in the Marine Corps is like 80 to 90% mental.
Going to finance, right? What's some financial, advice that you can kind of give to, young Marines?
If you're a young Marine, don't go to the vending machine, don't vape, like get your finances straight as young as possible. Start, building your credit, start saving. Because right out of, I think, MOS school, I probably had like $10,000 saved in my savings account, which was rare. Like I was talking to all of my fellow Marines at MOS school, and they were like, "Oh, I only got like 2,000, or I only got like 3,000 left." I'm like, bro, what did you spend money on? And then I see them going to the vending machine every day. I see them going to the PX, that the well, whatever it is, every single day. Like just go to the damn chow hall. It's not that bad. So
For anybody interested into stocks, cryptos,
stocks and crypto.
yeah.
When it comes to investing, I like to invest in myself and my business nowadays because I made a pretty big mistake. I think it was last year or the year before that when crypto was huge, and I went all in on crypto. So I sold all my stocks. I went all in on Luna, and it was probably like $15,000 worth of crypto And it obviously, if you guys remember Luna in crypto, it like doubled or tripled or whatever, and then it crashed all the way down. So I would like to say that that was a $15,000 lesson, teaching me to invest into things that I can control and teaching me to invest into myself, instead of, stocks or crypto. That's all like fine and dandy if that's what you're actively doing as a career. Like there are traders out there that do it full time. But if you're just doing it like part time or whatever, or you're just trying to get into investing, I would say like don't focus on crypto or stocks, focus on
For
yourself.
sure. And then, and kind of closing, what are some things, if you haven't said them already, that you would, kind of say to younger Marines or your younger self, or like encouragement and stuff like that to kind of close it all out?
I would say just stay motivated. Don't get complacent. Find ways to better yourself every day. And just get started on whatever dreams that you have. Don't be afraid. Chase your dreams. I know there's so many Marines out there, so many military members out there with so much potential, but they just let it be dreams. They don't actually execute on those dreams to make it a reality. So don't let your dreams die. Chase them, freaking go after whatever it is that you want. And yeah,
Hell yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, man?
in 5 years, I see myself with hopefully my business is still running. uh, Hopefully I'm able to retire my parents and just be able to keep doing what I love doing. So keep being able to do business and entrepreneurship and social media. Great. Um, so I just see myself doing same thing, same thing, just in business entrepreneurship.
Hell yeah, man. But without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys haven't already subscribed to, Joey Nguyen, go ahead, subscribe to him. If you guys haven't subscribed to here, subscribe here, like the video, comment down what you guys want to see next, or comment down how you want the military to benefit you. But thank you guys so much for watching.